Hi and welcome to the Pupil channel. I am the Pupil and this is my view. So, the ends justifies the means. Let's get to it. Why am I talking about this today? What's got me thinking along these lines? Well, in the morning I was cleaning, and as I was cleaning, I was listening to something on my phone. I can't remember exactly what it was, but whatever it was, it got me thinking, am I a good person? And what does it mean to be a good person? I mean, how do I identify that this is a good person? I was asking those sorts of questions about myself and, objectively, what does it mean to be a good person? And as I was thinking these things over, I was looking, introspecting, looking at how I treat people, how I interact with people, how, I used to be a people pleaser, but I stopped all of that. And you can say that to some people, I've become somewhat impossible because I simply will not do something if I do not agree with it. And being that person, some people really get offended. We might be working together in a team and somebody has an idea or tries to correct something that I'm doing. And, when I actually consider what they're asking me to do, I notice that, okay, I am doing this thing here. I'm using a particular method or tool to do this one thing. And this person is asking me to do it a different way. But when I look deeper into it, I see that, okay, there's really no significance to me doing it a different way. It won't change anything. So they just want me to do it their way, how they want me to do it, because they just feel it. And usually, if I cannot say 100% of the time, it's always like that they're really making a big deal out of nothing. So in that instant, I become impossible because I tell them dead straight, I'm not doing that. It makes no sense for me to drop what I'm doing right now, how I'm doing things right now, so that I can switch up the whole situation and do things your way, how you want me to do it, for whatever ridiculous reason you have. So I'm that person, and I'm also the type of person that I always say this: if you are my friend, I will tell you if you are messing up. I'll tell you if you are being stupid. I'll call you out on it and say, behave. you know and I'd really appreciate if people would do more of that, even to me. For that reason, I find it hard to trust most people most of the time, because people like to sugarcoat things. I don't like to sugarcoat things. I'm not mean. I'm not, you know, the people, okay, the people that I refuse to obey when they're telling me ridiculous nonsense do get offended. But, when I'm giving advice to people and I'm calling people out, it helps them. And although they may admit that they don't like it at first, usually, I don't know if usually is enough, because most of the time it's that I'm helping them and they recognize that I'm helping them. You know. Now I'm looking at those things. I have good intents. You know, I I really care what's going to happen to that person. And for their sake, I'm choosing to be serious about something that's in their lives. So I call them out on it. You know, I be direct about it. I put enough seriousness into it that they'll they'll feel it, that I'm dead serious about this. Stop what you're doing or change how you're doing things. You know, and what bothers me is that it comes off as if I'm this negative person, I'm this harsh person. Then what is being good? You know, I know there are nice ways to tell people things, and if I see it as it not being serious enough that I have to be serious about it. I mean, I'm a Christian. I study the Bible. I look how God gets serious when he's really talking about serious things, about things that he really doesn't want us to do. Not because he's so arbitrary, not because he's such a control freak that he wants to control our lives, every, aspect of our lives. No, he gives us serious instruction with serious consequences in a serious enough tone for our own sakes. All of God's laws, they are for that exact one purpose, that we should live the best lives possible. So when God is counseling us, he does not come all wishy-washy, do either or, and, trifles with the matter. He comes hard and says, this is what you ought to do, and this is how you ought to do it, front and direct. But you tend to find that people want to be all wishy-washy, and basically all of that is what was bringing me to this theme of the ends justifies the means. I know if you take it to an extreme, like a popular reference, Thanos, he's got this goal. He wants to save the universe, but in his approach to it, he sees it as acceptable for him to, kill half the population of the universe. That's insanity. I understand that, and anything of that line of thinking, that's insanity. But sometimes, like when you're helping a child, the Bible does say foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him. A child may be, undisciplined, and you try to discipline the child, and after numerous attempts of trying to help them to be on the right path, they fail. They fail, and not to mean that they fail because they tried. No, they fail because they're not interested in it. So to make the matter more serious for them, to make it, to show the severity of what you're trying to impart unto them, you get a stick and you give the child a few strokes, and that's to help drill this thing into their mind that this is bad. There's bad consequences at the end of this. There, I'll agree. Hitting children, beating children is not a nice thing. I would say it's not a, it's not intrinsically good, but there are times when it's good, because it will help discipline the child, then it becomes good. So the end results have justified it. That's what I'm trying to talk about. The ends justifying the means. It's when taken to extremes, it's a terrible idea. But when closely examined and looked at soberly, it is such And it can be very ennobling. It can be very ennobling. It can make it can make one a very truthful person, you know. And now I'm just thinking that what really determines if you are using that this concept right, this idea right, the idea of ends justifying means, it is morality. If you have good morality ruling you, you can operate well, under that idea of ends justifying the means. I mean, many people wonder why God, was punishing people in times of the Old Testament. He was communicating something to them, that the ends of this thing is death. You want to die? Let me just bring it closer. See, death. You cannot go on living in a perfect world. Okay, the world is not perfect now, but the plan of God is to return humanity to a perfect world. You cannot go on living in a perfect world if you are corrupt, So God gave us laws and He's telling us, live this way, move in this certain direction, and we are rebelling. So God does what? He punishes people, He brings judgments. People die, So they learn the severity of the matter. The ends do justify the means. I don't know. I don't know. I do know, but I also know that morality is a great part of this. Being truthful. Being truthful. Absolutely good. Absolutely good. And the truth makes life simple. If everybody told the truth, nobody would have, there would be far less confusion. There would be far less misunderstandings. There would be far less of many of the struggles that we are having, because if everybody told the truth, everybody could easily trust each other. Everybody could know what to do and what to expect when. That's the power of truth. It makes life simple. It diminishes the chaos that is in the world. It is like the light pushing back at darkness. It expands the domain that people can operate on within. That's the beauty of truth. So if you speak more truthfully, sugarcoating is lying, because let's say something is this much severe and you sugarcoat it to this level of severity. How I respond now to a thing that's of this severity will be different. It will be far less than what I should be, than how I should be responding, So because of this gap here, this is a gap of deception. You have deceived me. You have made it to seem as if it's less than what it is. So people, yes, if we've got evil, if I'm going on a rant here, but hopefully this video communicates what I'm trying to get at, and I'm really trying to start a dialogue about these things, about how we view morality. Because look at somebody who's naturally a very agreeable person. That's what we would call a good person, a nice person. Why? Because they are kind. They've got all these gentle, soft virtues. They are kind. They're smiling. They're giving. How you would imagine the ideal woman to be. They've got those feminine qualities of gentleness, of kindness, of softness, of hospitality. They're running out of space. Okay, so what I was trying to say is, those people, those agreeable people, they're easy to live with. They'll not fight you. They'll not disagree with you. They're agreeable. They'll go with the flow. it sounds nice. It sounds nice when you think about it that way, that they're hospitable, they're nice, they are all these things, and it will be so sweet being around them because they are all sugar and no salt. But those same people are the people that will spoil their children. Those people are the same people that will be a yes man. If you want to have friends that are yes men, get yourself some agreeable people, get them around you. See how toxic that will be. Those people are really your enemies. You do not want people like that. Okay, agreeable people are nice. Have them around, They'll we all need kindness. We all need gentleness. We all need somebody who will be tender towards us. But other times, a person must stiffen up, you know. So don't be rock hard, and don't be too much like water. You must, or maybe be like water, because water can be frozen and solid like rock, and then it can flow like water. Water can flow like water. It can flow, it can be fluid. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is avoid the extremes, because there's also virtue in the things that are deemed negative, like killing. Read the Bible. Many people are really bugged by that. In the Old Testament, a lot of people were dying. God was even commanding for many people to be killed, even entire nations swept away. But because the ends justifies the means, we understand this. When it comes to our pets, we do what we call putting them down. We're actually killing them. We kill our dogs, we kill our cats, we kill all those creatures that we love so much, because we want to end their suffering. Now imagine a good God who would not want to end our suffering. Of course, many people will say, He's God, He's omnipotent, He's omniscient, He can do so much. Yeah. But we are also facing the results of our own behavior. God is planning on putting us in a perfect world, and if we will not live in a perfect way, in accordance to the rules, well, that's our choice. We are essentially resisting, we are denying life, we are rejecting it, and because of that, why wait? Take it now. So that's the whole issue on good versus evil, being good. What does it mean to be good? It means having balance, judging things as they come. What's the proper response to this? What can produce the greatest good, the greatest amount of good? The ends justifies the means. If you must get a stick or a cane and beat your child, not harshly, a few strokes. If that's what it's called for, do that. And if what is called for is actually sitting your child down and having a conversation with them, if what needs to be done is that you need to hug your child or whomever, I don't know why I always make references to children. Maybe because we understand things better towards them, because we feel for kids, not necessarily for each other. But people, be objective when you must be objective, and be subjective when you need to be subjective. Be kind when you need to be kind. Be firm and stern and strict when you need to be. Because you know the results. You have them in here. We are blessed with foresight. So whatever it is that you have in your foresight, whatever you think will be the outcome, if it is bad, stop. If it is good, go right ahead. Also consider, is this the best way? Thank you. That's my view.